Hello and welcome to another Photopea learning session. This tutorial will demonstrate the workflow involved in applying text to an image. Begin by becoming familiar with the location of the tools that will be used. There are 2 items in the top menu bar, File and Filter, and 6 items from the toolbar on the left, Move, Rectangle Select, Eyedropper, Gradient, Text, and Color Picker. The final image will look like this, with the background blurred so that the text stands out more. A gradient with 3 colors will be added to the text and a drop shadow to give it a sort of 3D effect. So let's get started. The first step is to store the correct shade of green and yellow in the color palette. Here is the image of the flag that will be used to select the 2 colors by clicking the eyedropper tool, or I on the keyboard. Click the first color sample to activate it and launch the color picker. The shades of each color consist of combining various degrees of red, green, and blue, and each combination converts to hex value. So the eyedropper will help us to pick the exact shade. Move the mouse to pick the yellow. Notice the change in the color sample and the new hex value. Click OK to save it. Click the second color sample and then the green from the flag. Click OK to save it. Open the file that will form the background and add a blur filter. Select the rectangle tool and draw a box over the entire image. The blur tool is useful for changing a section of the image at a time, so it will be quicker to apply a blur as a filter instead. Select any one from the available choices and adjust the radius slider to the desired level. Click OK and tap outside of the image to release the selection box. Click the Text tool, or T on the keyboard. Select the font type and size. 230 pixels will be used in this example. Notice that a text layer has been added. Type the text over the image. Click the Move tool to center the text horizontally and vertically, and look for the 2 red lines to indicate the correct position. Here the middle of the text is placed along the center line. Open the layer style to add the gradient and shadow by clicking an empty spot on the layer. Click and drag the panel to make the text fully visible. Click the gradient overlay checkbox and double-click to make it active. Be sure that the name appears in the sub-panel. Click the gradient panel to apply the 3 colors. Click the first gradient box and the associated color to activate the color picker. Mouse over to the color palette and pick one of the 2 colors. It will appear in the picker panel. Click OK. Add a third color by clicking any empty spot along the gradient. Repeat the color picker process and choose the second color from the palette. Align the color to the desired spot on the gradient scale. Click OK to save. Now apply the drop shadow. Ensure that drop shadow is the active panel. Adjustments include changing the angle of the light, the distance of the shadow from the text. Click OK to save. The updated image can now be saved to the computer. Click File, Export, JPEG. Adjust the quality to 100%. Click Save. Go to the location on the computer and save the file. The adjustments that were just made can also be saved as a PSD or Photoshop document so that at a later date the text can be changed without having to start all over. Click File, Save as PSD, navigate to the location on the computer and click Save. Close the files in Photopea. Now open the PSD file to make changes to the text. Drag and drop the file or use File, Open, and select the PSD file. Click the Text tool and type the new text. Use the Move tool as before to adjust the position. Make any other changes, for example the font size, by highlighting all the text. Click the check mark to save. Use the Move tool again to adjust the position. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Happy editing!